fighting it out for a top 10 finish.
Exactly. I mean, Nikki Van Djk, Coco Ho, these two ladies are really going to look to have a strong finish for 2015. We've already crowned our world champion.
And, well, another great battle about to unfold here. Live action. This is Coco Ho coming off the back of a huge performance in round 4. She looks to set up the tube on the inside. And just racing now, trying to find some open face to play with down the line, but she's going to kick out. 32 minutes remaining. Alessa Kuzon and Carissa Moore fighting it out in semi-final number 1 after strong quarter-final performances. But here's Nikki Van Djk on the replay, her first wave.
Yeah, Nikki Van Djk gave us one of the highlights of the day on the first day of competition, getting barreled, and she's just returning to that form. Beautiful read on this wave from Nikki Van Djk. Great carving cut back there, back into that critical section and just eyeing off this lip and really hunting the barrel.
An amazing roll that Nikki Van Djk has been on. This is another big finish in a CT event for Nikki this year. She's coming off the back of a string of 5 quarter-final finishes. She wants to break into the semis so bad.
There she just tucks under the lip beautifully. Just has such a beautiful read, like I mentioned. And here we go, Coco Ho.
This is live action. Coco just getting caught behind there. She takes a fall. And she's back at the takeoff zone, swinging for this one. This will be her second ride. Racing down the line, pulling into the barrel. Very deep on this one. And she gets caught up on the foam ball. But at the moment, not relying on her QS results to shore up a spot on the CT. But that might change at the end of this heat, because you're watching on her QS results to shore up a spot on the CT, but that might change at the end of this heat, because you're watching Nikki Van Djk, the current number 10 on the Jeep leaderboard, and Coco Ho at number 11 fight it out for top 10 honours.
This is Coco Ho. We've been talking about how well she's been fitting her turns into this wave. The read and the timing from Coco has just been impeccable. It seems like she's even more freed up after that big victory over Courtney Conalog. Nikki Van Djk would attest as she swings on her third ride now. And it's a nice looking wall for the Victorian. A couple of solid turns to get started. Trying to get a good read on this inside bowl. And she does. And just stringing together a number of big hits. Mixing it up with a bit of a layback there on the inside. She was looking super relaxed in the competitors area before heading out for this heat, Rosie. Looks like Coco is having a browse. Well, Coco swings on this one. It's a good looking wall, drives into that first turn. Just putting some of that power to use. Again, a critical snap, caught behind, and she pulls through the back. It will be her best wave after she blitzed that last rod. Let's just have a look. I mean, this wave, the bay's really come to life this afternoon, and Nikki Van Djk is really putting that board on rails, slicing through those sections, hunting the barrel down on this wave, having to put the pedal on the gas, and then another carving turn. Just beautiful read. Gets a little hung up on that one, but I love that way that she just mixes it up. That last turn, like you mentioned, the layback, just laying that back arm down and really getting that board. But that's definitely a possibility with the way Coco is surfing to finish off this year, but it's going to be a tough ask because Nikki Van Djk has just put away an 8.17. Impressed me this year was her return to form in Fiji. I mean, she had that horrific wipeout like you mentioned last year and able to quarterfinal there this year. And those two obviously good friends. And here we go. Live action, Nikki Van Djk. She's been all style on those Bolio waves that she's ridden throughout this contest. And she is hoping this one holds open for her, deep in the barrel. To see what her call is. Will she swing? It looks like she's going to. Takes the drop. Her first turn options have been solid throughout. And this wave is going to be no different. A couple of strong moves to get started. This wave holding up nicely down the line, but it shuts down on the inside bowl. Nikki out in front. Coco chasing a 7.78. And we have seen wave selection play into some of these close heats as Coco Ho
Picks off a nice looking insider here. Chasing a 7.78 to get herself into the lead. Considers that end section floater for a moment. Finishing runner-up the next year. She's made some fantastic calls throughout this contest, and we have firing waves for the last day of the comp. Coco Ho picking off an insider there. He's in no danger of being called a chicken. It's Owen. He's been going crazy all year, and he's going to give it a good nudge. But right now, Nikki Van Djk is up and looking to drop a 7.17 to increase her lead over Coco Ho. Stringing her moves together beautifully. Smooth flow, barreled on the inside now. Mixing it up with a carve. And really just working this wave over. I would say that Coco's surfing with a little bit more speed, but Coco's wave selection at this point in time's letting her down a little bit, but she might have a gem right here. She drives off the bottom. Quite a bit of size to this ride. Goes to the rail. Really flowing down the line. Never looks too rushed, even though this wave can peel off pretty quickly. And Coco really starting to let go of some major turns here. Gets a solid finish. A great exchange from these two little dynamos for stalling Courtney's run through this contest. Nikki Van Djk got the jump on Courtney. And Joanne Defay in round 3, and then Coco obviously disposed of her in the 4th round. But Nikki just on a tear here at the moment.
Yep, keeping it so tight in the pocket. Swooping turn there. She finds a little bit of cover. She also looks like she's on a bit of a longer board. Channel Island surfboard working beautifully for her. So
clean her technique is. She's got one of the best styles on the Women's Championship Tour. But have a look at the size of some of these turns now. We saw glimpses of this in France. Some strong maneuvers on some bigger equipment. And she's taken it to a whole nother level here at Honolulu Bay again.
she has that first turn. You can see she almost kind of over rotated on her knees, but then she regathers and she's just able to just unwind those turns. I love the way that she gets it on rail, and she does those turns with a lot of speed and power. To actually hold your rail and do that while you've got that momentum just looks so pretty on these waves.
Between the two spoilers, the two big spoilers in this contest so far. 8.03 for Nikki Van Djk, so the requirement for Coco Ho, an 8.63. 1 minute, 15 seconds to go. Priorities with Nikki Van Djk. The score dropping for Coco Ho, it's a 9.33. And Nikki Van Djk is chasing an 8.74. The clock is winding down. The onside announcer starting to count this one in. She gets up before the hooter. She needs a big score, an 8.74. This wave reeling off nicely. It's fast though. She tucks into the barrel, and it's just not going to hold open for Nikki Van Djk. And Coco Ho, well, she is going to take the win with a solid comeback in the final stages. Chasing an excellent score. She got a 9.33, and she is moving on through to semi-final number 2. Great heat though. And there are the totals. Less than a point separating these two competitors.